I'm here, ready to roast some coffee on Sunday. I think I got everything going pretty good. I guess we're gonna find out. I was just in the house trying to get everything set up, trying to make sure my audio's working. And I also think I figured out what was going on with my echoing. So while I'm out in the garage, I can't really check to see what's going on in there with my echoing. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this started. Roasting coffee. It's gonna take a few minutes. Here is some Sweet Maria's. Got some Nicaragua right there. Okay, I'm gonna throw that in the pot. Get this roasted, and then we're gonna talk about it. We can talk about stuff. And then my next one is Kenya. And I'll talk about the notes that it has in the description. Closed up here. So I'm a little lighter today. So I guess we're gonna turn this on. Okay, so you can probably tell I'm in my garage today because it is raining outside. So I had to set us inside. Remember we talked about this roasting coffee is just something you want to do outside. A couple of reasons, kind of messy. Towards the end. So this Nicaragua has let's see here, citrus, ginger, barley, lemongrass, and basil on a city roast. Pretty kind of a medium dark. And this one here is got some fruits like tangerine, grapefruit, coriander, at a full roast. So we're definitely going to go with a definitely a medium dark sweet. So last week, or 2 weeks ago, it was our roast every 2 weeks. I didn't get a new thermometer, first of all. Here's my thermometer right here. I keep track of the temperature because temperature is what everything's about with roasting coffee. So I feel like I have an issue with my probe on my thermometer. So I didn't get a new one. I looked into it too late getting a new one. I didn't get one in time. So I might be just going by sight and smell today. I'm not sure. I can already see that this temperature is jumping around a lot. So I think my sense here is just gone bad. It's frayed, so I'm getting some weird readings. You can see right here, right now. I don't think I can fix it. I guess I can try. But it's jumping around all over the place. So I've got the sight window over here where I can see into what's going on. And then I also have my nose. I use my nose because I can tell by the smell as well as the sound. And it's more going to be a sound thing and a visual thing that I'm going to be using. Now, when we roast coffee, a couple of key things. You can adjust the temperature up and down to change the flavors. A lot of professional coffee roasters, they have a whole program of how they do their temperatures and their airflow and all that kind of stuff. You know, a big professional coffee roaster is going to have a means of letting more air flow through the roast and also being able to adjust the temperature. When you adjust the temperature, when you start getting up to like 200, 260, 300, 350, 400 degrees, all these different points when you adjust temperatures is going to affect the flavor, because it's all about process of what's going on inside the bean with the heat at the time you're changing the heat. Like if you're letting it roast a little bit cooler at say 300 degrees, the moment before the bean really starts releasing a lot of the moisture inside of it, it's going to change the tone of the taste or the flavor. So there's a lot of different things that you can experiment with. I don't do anything. I basically put my burner on, I get it going, and I leave it where it is. But there is a bunch of different things that you can do. You can probably get a fan and get it to blow over your roaster as well, and kind of induce more air into the roast, and that will help change the flavor a little bit. I generally go about, man, this seems like it's going really quick today. I generally go about 15 minutes on a roast. I'm going to turn this down. So I can see inside the roaster here, the beans are definitely not at a 300 degree temperature. I really just going to see if I can pull this probe out and get it to read a little bit better. I've been roasting quite a few years, so I pretty much have an idea of when I'm looking for the different temperatures and stuff like that. I could really just monitor the beans. And like I was saying just a few minutes ago, in my last roast 2 weeks ago, when I first started noticing this problem with this temperature gauge, you see here I've got the temperature to mellow out a little bit. 280, somewhere in there, that's about where it seems the beans actually are. So when I noticed this, my last roast, I panicked a little bit because I wasn't quite sure where we were at. It kept saying 430 degrees, 435. I thought I had adjusted it and fixed it. When I pulled the beans off, they were definitely a light. I didn't really care for the coffee at all. I did a lot of espresso shots that I added into my coffee for the last 2 weeks, because I told you 2 roasts ago I did 2 batches. One was an espresso batch and one was a medium dark batch, and I did that because I've been enjoying adding a shot of espresso into my coffee. It's something I normally do, I like to do, but when I get too much espresso, it really kind of messes with my stomach. I've always kind of been like that. Espresso shots can be a little hard on your stomach, especially depending upon how you're roasted and how dark you're roasting it. All these types of things, affect how much acidity you have in your bean and your coffee when you actually make the cup. So let me check over here and see what's going on. So I can see in here we're starting to get a little bit of color. Not too much. It's still in the lighter stage, but I can also see chafe coming up, which tells me that we're getting some roasting coming up. And I don't know if you can see the little sparks coming up off the roaster here, but that's just the chafe, the dry edges of the bean that are kind of burning off, drying out and floating away. And they come out these little holes, and a lot of times they get sparked or ignited by the flame, so you can see like coming out there. So that's a good indication that the process is going along. We're going really good. What we're going to start listening for is cracking. Cracking of the bean is a really good indication that things have progressed along pretty well. 350 to 400 degrees should start getting those crack. Probably more around the 400 degree temperature. And what's going to happen is at that point, we're going to really start paying attention to this roast. And my thermometer working out for me. I'm really going to start using my nose and my hearing to listen to the sound that it means as they start cracking. The more intense and faster they start cracking, the more smoke is coming out from the roaster. Is going to give me a good indication. Plus, I'm going to use the roaster while I look at the window. That's one of the things I really like about this roaster is I can see inside what's going on with the bean. So a couple of things, the roaster. I appreciate everybody who sent me emails and questions about the roaster. I've gotten a few. And that's exactly what the only reason I do this live roasting, other than I enjoy doing the live. I'm going to roast coffee. I do the live just to do the live, but I want to introduce people to the process of roasting coffee at home. And because it's so simple and easy, and it only takes about 20 minutes and about 24 hours of time for the coffee to rest, and we're going to call that the decarbing process, where it just kind of needs to breathe and air out and release the gases that have been created during the roast. So we generally wait 24 hours. Well, you want to wait 24 hours before you start drinking it. So we basically let it sit out in the colander for a day or two on the counter. The colander is just, I have the metal one here. I don't know what it's made out of, aluminum or whatever. I have a cyclone fan here, and this is just blowing air up. Because the process, once we're done roasting it, we're going to want to get the beans out of the roaster and into here and cool them as quick as possible. And that's where I seem to, fail a little bit. I have two sets of gloves. I have these gloves here for opening the door, and then I have these gloves here for lifting the roaster off. So I also have two colanders because I put 1 pound in each. Once I get it cool to dechafe and blow the chafe out from the bean. And you'll see that process here in a second. I'm hearing some cracking going on. And I'm noticing my temperature is at 420 degrees. I can see here we are definitely getting close to a light roast. We're not quite there yet. We're starting to get a little bit of cracking. I can definitely tell my thermometer is not reading properly. Going to mess with it a little bit more, see if I can get it to be a little bit more accurate. An accurate thermometer, I've had this thermometer for many years, and this bound, the battery's going to die, the sensor's going to go bad on that, because it's going to get dirty from rolling around inside this drum here. It's going to get covered with oil and stuff like that from the coffee. So it's going to go bad. I could just buy a new wire for this. And that might be what I do, but I'm going to look into it. So definitely starting to hear a little bit more cracking, and I'm seeing a little more color come into this right here. Looks like my temperature is about 410, which looks about right. Every time I pull my probe up here, it pulls it in there. So I can see the wires frayed right here too, and that might be what's kind of causing the problem with the temperature. So if you have problems with your thermometer, your temperature gauge, that's the great thing about having this window here. You can see what's going on. You're not going to lose the coffee, as long as you check it when you get to about where it looks about right. And I know because my garage is really bad lighting, but I can see in the window here it's definitely starting to get a little darker. I'm starting to hear a little bit more cracking. And what I'm looking for is I'm listening for the cracking to become consistent, where it's just a consistent cracking noise, and it sounds like popcorn basically, at that final stage where all the kernels are popping and stuff like that. Same thing with coffee roasting, where you're going to get that kind of sound. It's not as intense as popcorn popping, but you're going to get that sound. Let's see if I can get it right here. you to hear the cracking. So I like that my thermometer is at 415, which seems like a good temperature. So I might have my thermometer under control here. Sorry, I'm not talking to my thermometer might be a little bit better under control. Because we're at about 420 degrees, and this is about the time we start getting some more intense cracking as we start running into the 420 range, 430. So like I was saying, I appreciate the people that have been, sending me emails and comments and things like that, and asking questions about the roaster and the process. I really want to hear back from you guys if you get this going and get your first roast going, because I do know that it does take a couple of weeks to get this roaster on Amazon is where I got it. It doesn't come as quick as it used to. I noticed a lot of the shipping times to where I'm at in Washington. The shipping times are definitely a little bit longer than what I had seen before, and I don't know, maybe where you're at is different. We're going to get my gloves ready. Okay, so we're 4:32. Yeah, I'm not buying. Still seems a little light to me. So the great thing about roasting at home is you can experiment with different times of roasting and temperatures and light, dark, medium. Maybe light. I didn't really care for the flavor. They put it in the beans too, because the beans have a lot to do with how the flavor of the coffee is going to come out at the end. So with it being a little bit lighter. It's gonna give you that flavor. I'm more of a medium dark type of coffee roaster or coffee drinker. It's just what I like. I can smell the moment now coming out. Smell is a little bit stronger. And we're definitely starting to get. Yeah, see, my thermometer is 451. I am not buying to 451. Now I'm starting to hear that consistent cracking going on. And we're definitely about there. I think I'm going to call it right here. Now and you see the smokehouse coming up right there. That's what I like to see. This tells me we're at a good spot right here. And I'm not afraid to let it go a little bit longer. Changing the gloves really affects my speed of getting this off of here. So I'm thinking with the white background, you're going to be seeing the shape a little bit better in this as it blows off. And like I've said before, some of the batches of where they come from in their drying process also has an effect on how much taste you get. There are some batches I do where there is so much. This one here actually seems like it does not have that much. just working on getting some good lighting right here. So you can see that is exactly what I like right there. It's a nice, good, almost dark chocolate type look, color to it. It's got a little bit of oil on it. Let's see what this candle looks like over here. This one shows a little bit better. It's hard to dump it out. So I'm just going to work on getting the chafe out of here. It's kind of a little bit of a longer process. It's going to take a few minutes. And this is what I'm talking about, why you need to do this outside. It makes a real mess. I don't know if you can see how covered the table is right here, but my arm's covered with it. And this is definitely something you don't want to do when you're all dressed up and get ready to go out, because you were going to smell like coffee. This smell will cling to you. So you don't want to do this before you go to church. Or you're going out to dinner or something. You're going to smell like coffee. So that's really the process. Like I said, I just got to work on doing the de-chafing here with both of these batches. And I try to do my best to get as much out as possible. I think it's almost impossible to get all of it. Oh yeah, look at that. Put this aside. I think more flew into this from the other batch. So this was 2 pounds that I roasted, and so of course because I roasted 2 pounds of green beans, it doesn't mean I'm going to get 2 pounds back. It's probably going to be more like a pound and a half. And for us, that lasts about 2 weeks. And I've talked about my coffee maker. We had some issues with our one we had. We really liked it, and we had 2 of them. And they're like, I don't know, they're like a $250 coffee pot, which sounds crazy. It's one of those coffee pots where you just put the beans in it, and it grinds the beans before it starts brewing. So we have it set up on a timer during the week to go off, and it grinds the beans and starts brewing it. And it's my alarm clock too in the morning. It's what I wake up to. Because I'm a very late sleeper, it just wakes me up. So we've been having a problem with that, and we finally gave up on it, and we broke down and bought a different one. I forget the names of what they are, but our different one definitely has a different process for grinding the beans. The one we liked had a bird grinder, and that's where I think the problem lied. It would get clogged, and the chute would get clogged. You'd have to clean it. It was a great coffee maker though. It did good, but as the time went on, we've had 2 over the past like 2.5 years. They barely lasted a year for us, and we make full pots. a coffee every day. So we end up with what is it, a Cuisinart, something like that. I believe it's Cuisinart now. And this one here is not a burr grinder. And what it does is it basically dumps the beans into a blade grinder, and it just grinds it and drops it into the coffee basket. It works a lot better because it's constantly being cleaned, and it doesn't get clogged because the chute doesn't get clogged. Oil in the beans and all that. It really doesn't get clogged up. So I know it's dark in here. It's hard to see. Trying my best to get it so you can see that there. Anyways, that's all there is to coffee roasting. You know, I do this every 2 weeks. I do it live every 2 weeks, and I really just do it just to show people how easy it is. I mean, it's a great hobby. You're not going to save a ton of money on coffee. It is a little cheaper because you're buying green beans, but you know, then you got to buy a burner. You know, and I have a regular campfire burner. And I've talked about this before. It has a red knob, and that red knob signifies that it's a high pressure. So this puts out more BTU than a regular. I don't know that this camera is going to be all awesome and stuff like that. It's going to put out more BTU than a regular burner, which is a less BTU, and it's going to have usually has a black knob on it, and that's why I was showing you this here to show you the difference. So this is just high pressure. It's a high pressure burner, and it gets a lot harder, a lot quicker. So I like using it because you know, I did a turkey for Thanksgiving, fried it, and I use this burner, and it's just really good about getting you know, hot quick now. It gets a good temperature going. So between the cost of the burner, the propane, and the roaster, you're about $200 into this thing, and then you know. I don't know, these propane tanks seem to last quite a while when I'm doing the roasting. So, you know, all in all, I get 8 pounds of green coffee from Sweet Maria's for, I think it's like $65 shipped to the house. You know, when I first started doing this, it was like $45 to get 8 pounds shipped to me. And now we're up to $65. It's increased $25. I mean, that's what, a 50% increase almost. Just in the 5 years I've been doing it. So that's kind of crazy. But I've also looked in the store, and a pound of coffee runs definitely around $12. You know, and even more. I mean, I know you can get it on sale and all that kind of stuff, and probably get a little bit cheaper. But you're gonna get, you know, something probably you don't like. I mean, I don't know. We generally would always buy the same type of coffee. We're kind of picky about the coffee. But it is nice to do this roasting here and get the different flavors and all that kind of stuff and experiment with them. Like I said, with that light roast I did, the last roast I did, I didn't really care for it. It just didn't have a strong enough flavor to it. I believe it just kind of pulled out more of the notes of the bean, and it just the flavor just wasn't there for me. Even when I put a shot of espresso in it, it seemed to be a little bit too strong. So anyways, this is the whole setup here. You can get these roasters on Amazon. You just look up coffee roaster on Amazon, and these things will pop up. A bunch of different ones will pop up. I definitely recommend this one here because it does do a pretty even job. You know, I was trying to show you the beans here so you can see how even that this is roasting. I know it's probably really hard to see. Man, that is a really it's a nice roast. You can't wait to drink this. anyways, that's all I have for this week. I'm going to have some things coming up once the temperatures start changing. You know, it's still cold here, so we're still drinking hot coffee. But I'm going to start talking about cold brew and how to do cold brew, how to do cold brew at home, how you can do cold brew. It's a really simple process. If you think coffee roasting is easy, cold brew is even easier. And from here, you know, making your own espresso. Making your own espresso is really simple and easy. Making your own drinks at home is really simple and easy. There's plenty of stores where you can go in and you can get all these flavors that you like, whatever you like in your coffee. Learn how to froth some milk, which is a very simple process. And you can make your own drinks at home, save you a lot of money, save you a lot of time. I know when I drive to work, I have a coffee stand right around the corner from my house here. And that thing has 2 lines, and it's always 4 or 5 deep when I go by there on each side. And sometimes it's spewing out into the street. And I don't have time for that. I'm not waiting for coffee. I'm not paying whatever. I don't even know what the prices are now. But I don't even know how people can stand doing that every day, going there and getting coffee. You can do this at home. Making your own espresso, learning how to make your own espresso is very easy. Frothing the milk is very simple. Getting the flavors you like, very simple. It's all a process of measurements and temperatures, and very simple to learn. So we'll start talking about that more maybe in a couple future episodes. For now, that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in a couple weeks for the next one.